Hello, hello, plebs. Welcome to another episode of Bob Radio. Bob stands for Build on Bitcoin, where we talk to Bitcoin builders from around the globe. Today, we have with us two special guests. The first is Mr. Alekos and Daniela, previously of BDK fame and probably still contributing there. But recently on this episode, we'll be focused on their effort to build a Bitcoin builder space near Rome, Italy. And it's called Hack.bs. Hello, Alekos. Hello, Daniela. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, doing good, thanks.
Hey, everyone. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, I'm glad you liked the introduction. But super excited to talk to you guys about, what you're doing. And I know that we were just talking pre-show. You guys are having a meetup in about 5 to 6 hours, and that's gonna kick ass. All right. Before we do that, Sovereign, co-DJ, sir, let's kick us.
Right, guys. I'm gonna shoot you with like 2 rapid fire questions for each. Just answer as fast as you can. Don't even think about like the question, all right?
Yep.
Daniela, you go first. You have to choose between pineapple on pizza or a Thai massage.
Pineapple on pizza. It's not that bad, and I really, really, really hate massages. So that's an easy one.
Alekos, what do you miss more? Working on BDK or working with Rush?
I'm sorry for Raj, but probably BDK as a project, which includes Raj as well. So,
All right.
I can say that I kind of miss him as well by saying I miss BDK.
Oh, you're inclusive.
Daniela, you have to shift career. Your options are to work as a UI UX designer or as a dev, but like a public employee. What's your call?
I would say UI UX designer because I kind of like UI UX. I do study stuff every now and then, and I really wouldn't like being a public employee because I don't know, it's always so full of bureaucracy and so not efficient. So yeah, just UI UX.
Right. Alekos, last one. Have you read the white paper yet?
Oh, no, not yet. Still going.
All right, over to you, Piccolo. I think we can like get back into like Bitcoin personal journey.
Perfect. Okay. Generally, the show is run where we talk first about your personal journey, followed by the project that feature show today, which is Hack.bs. But I feel like if you listen to other shows, you've already talked quite a bit about your personal journey, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll go a little bit deeper in terms of the personal journey stuff. Starting with you, Alekos. as a follow-up, why have you not read the white paper, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a weird story. Basically, first of all, I'm not really the kind of person that learns by studying. I prefer to learn by doing stuff. So like, I don't know, if I want to learn Bitcoin, I'll look at code and I'll look at examples and all this kind of stuff. So in general, I don't like theory as much. And so basically that's how I learned about Bitcoin. And then at some point, like I think a couple of years after I had started working on Bitcoin already, I realized that I had never read the white paper. And I mean, by never read I mean I never fully read it, like in one sitting. For sure, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never like sat down and read all of it. And so yeah, this kind of joke started that I've been working for 2 years on Bitcoin and I never read the white paper, and these 2 years have become like 3, 4, and 5. I think this is the 6th year that I'm working on Bitcoin, and so at this point it's like I don't want to do it. It's like I don't want to ruin this 6-year long thing. So I'm trying to see how long I can go without reading the white paper. And it got close a few months ago when we were at a conference in Viareggio, Italy, where Giacomo gave a speech about the Bitcoin white paper. So it was like all the things that Satoshi got wrong in the white paper. And so it got really close there, but first of all, I got late to the talk, so I missed a good chunk of it. And then it was not like showing the full white paper. It was also quoting bits and pieces and say, this bit is wrong, this bit is not clear. So I'm still, it's still going. 6 years in, still going.
Okay, as a follow-up, and then we'll go to Daniela. Do you think you'll ever read the white paper? I mean, if you were forced to do it, like if you don't do it, then you can't see friends, family, me, Sovereign, Daniela ever again. Would you then read the white paper?
Yeah, I mean, at some point, yeah, it's not, it's not the achievement of my life not reading the white paper. So it's not that I'm not willing to lose other things for this, but it's kind of a joke at this point. I'm like, let's see, unless I have a reason to read it, which at this point I don't really think I do anymore. I'll try not to read it as long as I can. That's what I'm saying, but it's not, the end of the world.
All right, it's pretty gangster. At least you'll make sure to save loved ones if you have to. Good to hear that. All right,
yeah,
Daniela.
Priorities.
Go ahead.
Oh,
sorry,
no, sorry.
Finish your thought, Alekos.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I have priorities. I understand there are more important things than these kind of jokes, but yeah.
Very nice, sir. Cool. All right, Daniela. How long have you been sort of working on sort of development, and then now getting into the bidder space in Bitcoin? Is it like 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, exactly. I've been working on Bitcoin since 2019, September 2019. So it's going to be 4 years soon. And yeah, as in, I basically started working on Bitcoin at the same time I started working as a dev, because I've been in school until 2019. I finished high school in 2019, and my first job was a Bitcoin job in Blockstream. During high school, I did do some internships, etc. But yeah, I just went straight to Bitcoin.
Awesome. As somebody who sort of started in that, and again, probably comparing, maybe friends and family who are outside the system, what, 2 parts. What's the hardest thing about, working in Bitcoin or being an open source contributor / builder? And number 2 is, what are some of the key features that you would tell friends and family who ask you, why are you doing this, right? Because someone like yourself with skills and expertise can work for a big, prestigious tech company, but you don't. So what do you tell friends and family when they ask you?
So, okay, I'll start with the second question first, because I actually got asked that because I think it was start of I think I was still in school. It was 2019 around April, and Google sends me an email. I mean, someone from Google being like, "Hey, are you interested in considering a career here at Google?" And I was like, I still need to finish school. Let's talk about that in a couple of months. Then my internship in Blockstream started, etc. I did do like my initial interview with Google, and then I chose not to go on with the whole interview process. And the reason for that is when I started working on Bitcoin, I realized I wanted to work on something that I thought was meaningful for me, and more in general, I want to have some kind of bigger mission. And so working for Bitcoin on Bitcoin for me is working for just helping the people to be more free, to have free money. And that's super important for me. So yeah, I've been asked by friends and family, like, hey, what, don't you just work at Google, probably make, I don't know, at least twice my current salary, and just be a Google employee. And when you look like on social media, there are all those huge Google offices with all those I don't know, they look like parks in a sense, but yeah, they have really, really cool offices. And my reply is always, well, I want to do something that's meaningful for me, even though maybe I won't make as much, or I won't have as fun, or I'll have to work a bit more. And so, yeah, going back to the first question, I mean, there are some challenges about working on Bitcoin. So first of all, as we always say, is a rabbit hole, right? So there's a lot to know, but about many different topics. And if you want to get Bitcoin, you need to study something about economics, something about game theory, computer science, mathematics. There's philosophy. There's a lot going on. And so I feel like it's easy to feel overwhelmed when you just realize okay, there's so much I don't know, and I should study. And more in general, being an open source contributor, that this kind of problem holds even outside of Bitcoin. It means that you don't really have some kind of mentor that guides you. While I would have that if I worked in a company. So yeah, that's one of the issues in open source contributing. You're there by yourself, and you need to do stuff for yourself, but you need to figure out exactly what you want to work on, how much time to spend every single day working. You need to make sure you don't burn out, and you need to make sure you don't work 1 hour a week. So there's you need to learn how to self-manage, and that's not exactly easy, but I think it's fun. There are a lot of challenges that come up. You just realize, okay, I've been working too much lately and I'm close to burnout, and if I burn out, I won't be really productive in the long term, so I should do this and that. So yeah, it's been fun, but there are challenges, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Alekos, back to you. The former question, again, just to remind, is what is the hardest thing or the biggest challenges that you face or that you see about, working in Bitcoin or being a contributor / builder?
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely some overlap in what Daniela said as well. I'm going to mention a few things. I don't know if you mentioned them or not, because I got distracted, so maybe I'll be repeating them. But so one thing I'm considering lately, it's not the kind of thing that everybody talks about, but it's also the matter of personal security, for example. Because I feel like working on Bitcoin, this is not really related to the open source stuff. It's working on Bitcoin in general. It's especially if you do it with your own name, you're kind of making yourself a bit of a target. So I don't know, that's another thing that I'm personally considering. And more practically on the on the side of, what's hard about Bitcoin. It's, as Daniela was saying, it's a lot of different topics. You need to kind of understand a little bit of everything. You have a big responsibility because if you screw up, people lose money. And most other jobs, it's not really like that. Most jobs, it's like, you screw up and the website doesn't work really well, or you have like an image in the wrong spot, but it's not the end of the world. On Bitcoin, it's more critical, I would say. And then, yeah, pretty much I agree with what Daniela said. So I'm not going to repeat all of that because it's going to get boring otherwise.
Sure. Okay. As a follow-up question, having worked on Bitcoin for, this long, any regrets, either personally or professionally? One that, again, that you can share, obviously.
Okay, that's a tough question. So, well, I would say maybe one regret is using my name from the beginning, because again, what I was mentioning before, so personal security and everything. Maybe I should have tried to stay anonymous, but on the other hand, I think it's very, very hard to really do it right. So, I mean, most of the time, you can also find kind of a balance in between. So most of the time, what people end up doing is they have some kind of pseudonym, but then they go to conferences, and at least, the few people that are at every conference, they get to know them. Even if they don't know them by the real name, they still know their face, where they're from, where they live, this kind of stuff. So you still build kind of personal relationship with these people, even if you don't know their real name, which is, I mean, it's better, obviously, than having your real name everywhere, but it's still not perfect. The only really good anonymous developer, as far as I know, has been Satoshi. I don't know how many other people after him really managed to get that level of anonymosity, how do you say, to remain anonymous for so long and then eventually to disappear. So I don't know, maybe one regret I have is this, but on the other hand, I feel it would have been very hard to keep that up for many years. So I'm also like, maybe, yeah, I could have tried. Probably I wouldn't have made it that long, or at least I would have, over time leaked so much stuff about me that it doesn't really matter anymore all that much. And especially, for example, we're doing Hack.bs, so I'm leaking the city where I'm from, the city where I live, all this kind of stuff. That's very hard to keep secret if you want to stay anonymous. So it would have meant not doing Hack.bs, would have meant, all of these other things that I would have missed out for staying anonymous. So I don't know. I think in the end, that's not the end of the world, what I decided to do. And I don't know, other regrets, I don't know, I can't really think about, but yeah, one thing maybe I would mention is I would have liked to work on Lightning more, especially because when I joined, so 2017, it was kind of the beginning of Lightning. So it was, Segwit was activated, so Lightning was possible now. And so everything was starting from there. And I managed to do some Lightning stuff when I was working at Blockchain Lab. So when we were doing like research things, but it was kind of at the beginning of my career. So it wasn't, I was still learning a lot. I was not able to contribute all that much. And after that, I joined Blockstream, and I didn't have a chance to work on Lightning because I was working on the Green Wallet. Then I left Blockstream to work on BDK, and BDK was an on-chain library. And so over time, I kind of always, one way or another, never really managed to work too much on Lightning. But it's something, I think it's really interesting. So I don't know, maybe that's one regret I have. But on the other hand, again, if I had worked on Lightning, I wouldn't have started BDK. So I don't know. Again, it's not the end of the world, but maybe these are the two small regrets I have.
Right, Alekos, on the second one, it's not too late, brother. I mean, you can still very well contribute to Lightning, but just create more hours in a day. Figure out how to do that. So instead of 24, you have 36 hours, and you can do much more than even Lightning.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Daniela, I was going to ask you about the regret question, but you know what? Maybe I'll wait a few more years because, I think you're still sort of on the way. My question for you is, based on sort of what you've done so far, I mean, what was it that led to Hack.bs? Why, basically, why Hack.bs? And then once I do that, Sovereign, and then maybe you can lead off with your questions for them on Hack.bs as a kickoff to our, project section.
Yeah, of course. I think it was a need for a community, because I started working from home during COVID, so around February, March 2020, and then switched companies, etc. So I've been a remote worker for a few years. And so after a while, I just started feeling like, hey, I want to have some kind of space where I want to go during the day and work from there and just meet people and hang out with them. And talking with Alekos, we were like, okay, what if we create one? And then we can do meetups and events, and we can just build some kind of community. And in our city, there isn't really a big Bitcoin community. I mean, in general, in Italy, there are many, many Bitcoiners, not technical people, but a lot of people, just normal people being interested in Bitcoin, in the technology, just wanting to try out the latest wallet, the latest feature, etc. So we were like, okay, we should do some sort of space where we can also orange peel people from our city and meet like-minded people. And yeah, that was the main idea. And we actually sat on the idea for a while. I think at least one whole year, but I don't remember exactly, maybe even longer. So yeah, we were just okay, we should try, let's think about it, etc. And at a certain point we were just like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, that's how it started.
Nice. Sovereign?
Right. So linking your last reply to this, I want to ask you guys about like Hackspace. You recently launched this space on May, if I'm not wrong. What inspired you to create Hackspace, and what are like the core missions you're trying to achieve?
Sorry, I didn't understand. Was this question for me?
For both of you, you launched Hackspace last May, right? What inspired you to jump into this project, and what are like the core missions goals you have with like Hackspace?
Yeah, well, I guess I can start. I'm already speaking. Well, the inspiration comes from the many other places we've seen similar to our Hackerspace. So, paralleling polis in Prague, your space in Bangkok, and I don't know, in general, like these kind of communities that kind of form around, not necessarily just about Bitcoin, around development in general and the culture of hacking and building stuff. So yeah, that was kind of inspiration. Also movies, for example, sometimes you kind of see one really cool, well, it's not really a movie, it's more of a short series on Netflix. I think it's called $1 Million Code or $1 Billion Code, probably $1 Billion Code. And it's about the guys who invented Google Earth back in the day, and then Google basically stole the idea from them. And they, in this kind of series, they show the kind of space they had. This was based in Germany, I think in the 90s. And Germany, for some reason, is really into this kind of hacking culture. So there's a lot of things going on in Germany, Chaos Computer Club and stuff like that. So I don't know, these were all kind of inspirations from basically things that we try to take a little bit of all of this and put them into our own thing. So we wanted to create a space that's kind of a bit of all of this with a strong Bitcoin, I don't know, some Bitcoin relevance, or like Bitcoin is very relevant in our project, but still we're also a bit more open to software development or more like hacking in general.
So Daniela, how does like a day in a life looks like working at Hackspace?
Okay, so I have a copy of the keys of the space, but I'm not the only person. So I usually wake up quite late, actually, because I'm I'm a night owl. So I just wake up, I go to Hack.bs. Sometimes the place is already open because someone arrived before me. Sometimes I actually need to open the door. I just spend my day here. We don't have that many people coming in during the day. So yeah, I spend the day here. I eat something. There's a lot of really nice places like for lunch. And then yeah, on some nights we have the Hackerspace night. I think it's on Monday and Friday, or meetup night. So tonight is meetup night, for example. And so usually during the events, during the meetups, a bit more people come and we just spend time all together. We chat, we hack, we work on our projects. We also have some board games, so sometimes we spend just some time playing board games, and yeah, we just have fun and spend some time together.
So do you guys have like any plans on gathering Hackspace community in Brescia and work together in a project, for example?
I can answer this. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring people together and then work on various projects all together. So for example, one thing we're developing right now is a piece of software that we need for the space, which is like a kind of a website where you can pay for the beverages you buy. So we have like a fridge with, water, tea, I don't know, Coke and this kind of stuff. And it's like self-service. So you open the fridge, you take one, and then you go to this website and you pay. You can pay with Bitcoin, or you can say pay in cash, and you just put the money in a little box we have there. And we need this piece of software to manage like inventory. So we need we know when we need to go and buy new things, or for example, to register all the payments that we have to report for like tax purposes and stuff like that. So yeah, for example, we've been during these Hackerspace nights, so Monday and Friday, we've been just sitting there and just working on this all together. We're doing it in Rust, and a bunch of people don't know Rust, so we're also using this time to help Daniela and I. We can help them, we can teach them, we can show them a bunch of things. And eventually, my hope is that all of these people, well, first of all, they're going to learn a lot about Rust, about Bitcoin. I think we are also going to learn a lot from them on what they work on in their everyday life, because some of them are like mobile developers. I don't really know much about mobile development, so it's kind of we all learn from each other. And what I'm hoping is that eventually, if they are interested about Bitcoin, they could also find a job in the Bitcoin world. Some people are already saying that, it's cool, I would like to do it. Some other people, they already have their jobs, they don't really care. That's fine, obviously. But it's still good for them to come and learn and help others, and so like teach in a way as well. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. Build a group, we all learn from each other, we build stuff. And for us, like builders, that's fun. I mean, I know it's sounds very boring maybe for other people. For us, it's fun to sit there and build this kind of stuff.
So right now it's like free access to the public, right? Are you guys thinking of like trying to make it premium at some point, like memberships, stuff like that?
So basically, the way it works is free if you come for the Hackerspace thing. And so what we are defining it is after work hours, it's Hackerspace. So that's free. So if you just want to come to the Hackerspace, you need to buy or to like register for the yearly membership. It's not really something we wanted to do. It's more of a legal requirement because we are a non-profit entity in Italy. So essentially, we cannot do business with anybody because that would be considered commercial activity. So they say you cannot be a non-profit if you try to, like, I don't know, be a bar where you sell stuff. So the requirement for us is we can only do business, or like we can, let's say do business only with our members. So people need to register as members, but that's like $10 a year. So it's really a small amount. And then they can come whenever they want during the Hackerspace night. For other things like meetup night, which is again tonight, we are asking them to pay like a ticket kind of, but that's again a very small amount. I think it's $10. And we're doing it for, first of all, as an anti-spam measure, because we figured when you make events free, a lot of people sign up and then they don't come. And it's always a mess to coordinate because maybe you were expecting 50 people and then 10 come because it's free. So first of all, by making them pay a little bit, it's kind of a proof of work. Like if you commit to paying, then you're probably going to come. And also then we buy pizza for everyone. We buy basically dinner for everyone. So included in the ticket is also that. And we also do it obviously as a bit of a fundraising thing, because again, we are a non-profit, but we have to pay bills, we have to pay rent. So we need to raise some money. And lastly, for the people who come working there, so they come during the day, so during work hours, those people pay a membership for that. So basically during the day, it kind of acts as a co-working space. So you pay either a monthly fee or a daily. And then during the night, it's Hackerspace, that's free. Because we wanted to have a bit of both. Obviously, we need money to survive. And the easiest thing is to kind of extract money from people who work from there. Because they come, they have an office, they're willing to pay for an office. Obviously, they would pay anyway if they went to some other co-working space. So we can take money from them, and then we can, with this money, make the Hackerspace free for everybody. Or again, just get the membership and then you can come whenever you want. So yeah, it's a mix of both. It's not completely free, but also not everything is paid for.
Seems like you're trying to align incentives between you guys, your community, and even like people who might like just roam around and drop by. And that's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had like shitcoiners visiting you?
Yep.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
remember exactly how we handled it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I remember some people coming to me during one meetup and being like, I like Ethereum. And I was like, I don't care. As long as you're not here just telling everyone how much you like Ethereum, etc. I mean, just don't talk about it here. It's not even, yeah. So the point is, it's a bit unpolite to say, okay, you can say the word Ethereum inside my space, but at the same time, I don't want to have endless conversations on which shitcoin is better than which other shitcoin. So yeah, we don't. I've always said like the clear policy is it's okay if you're no coiner, it's okay if you're shitcoiner as long as you don't talk about shitcoins. And I understand it's not maybe the most inclusive or the most polite thing. But yeah, I feel like that's a policy that works because you're not really excluding anyone. You're just asking people not to chat about shit. So yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, if I can expand on that a little bit, I think in general, like in principle, we would be okay with people talking about technology in general. So just sticking to the tech, because that's cool. There are cool pieces of tech in like zero knowledge, cryptography, coins and stuff like that. The problem is the conversation always degenerates to talking about the price, talking about buy this coin, because like maybe you spend an hour explaining zero knowledge, and they're like, "Oh, you should definitely buy this coin because you see the zero knowledge is super cool." And I think there's a disconnection between the two. Like, one coin could be super cool, but still it will not be a great investment, or it will not be a great way of storing my money, saving my money. So it's easier to like ban everything, which is, again, as Daniela was saying, not great, but it's also kind of the only way. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe one day we'll figure out a way. In principle, we are open to technology in general. We're not open to people using the technology for shilling their coin. My coin has the better tech, so you should buy it. We don't want that. So yeah.
That's what we're trying to do at Bob as well. We have like really established rules. You only come to Bob to learn about Bitcoin and open source development, and that includes lots of technology, right? But yeah, once you start like shilling your favorite coin, then we have a problem, because like you're ruining the experience we're trying to provide to our community. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, cut you off.
I just said, yeah, exactly. Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt for these stupid things.
All good. Piccolo.
No, interrupt all the time, Alekos. All right. Free to interrupt all the time, always. Okay. And a question I have for you guys, because how do you guys market or promote Hack.bs? And the genesis of that question is, at Bob, I just say we suck at marketing, and the way people find us is by word of mouth, and generally it really. But yeah, how do you guys market or promote Hack.bs and what you guys are trying to do and accomplish?
Yeah, I think the quick answer is we suck as well. Because we basically don't market it either. I mean, we do have a Twitter account, we do have an Instagram account. Sometimes I remember that we do have social networks and I just log in and post something. But yeah, I would love to have someone that's just good at marketing and that can figure it out for ourselves, because we're devs. We're not good at going on Twitter and writing, oh, hey, come to the meetup, come to the Hackerspace, post memes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's bad.
Okay, that's an honest one. Alekos, you got anything to add to that?
No, sorry. There's like a big fucking thunderstorm happening right now. I'm running around the house, closing everything. So I didn't really follow Daniela's answer. I'm sure it was great. So I'm not going to add anything.
Okay, good. Stay safe. Stay safe. Don't get swept up by the thunderstorm. Yeah, be sure.
Well, I'm safe inside, but yeah, I'm closing everything. Otherwise, it rains inside and stuff.
No worries. Yeah, Daniela, just in response to you, I think is not only devs, but generally Bitcoiners, we suck at marketing. And maybe because, and I don't know, I've been told that we have a very close-minded way of looking at things where if it's not the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, we kind of dismiss it. So we're very cautious about trying to misrepresent something that it may not be, right? So that's one reason. Or we're circumspect, or we're cautious with the truth because it is the truth. And when you do that, it's almost antithesis or very contradictory to promotion and marketing, in the fiat sense. Maybe someone will become good at Bitcoin marketing. God, imagine how many sets that guy would make.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're definitely right. It's something I've been thinking for a while. Like, okay, but if I post something and it's a kind of me wanting to promote this page and I'm not 100% honest, I'm pretty sure people will just tell me, no, that's not exactly fair, etc. And that happens much more often in Bitcoin space than in the real world. So yeah, definitely agree with your answer.
Yeah. I think the audience, or generally Bitcoiners who are trying to look for signal also can sniff out bullshit pretty easily, right? So, therefore, over marketing is also a turnoff for many, because I think the general thing is, if it's already the truth, why do you need to like market it and make it something else? So cool. All right.
I think
Moving
so.
on.
I'm going to,
Sorry, go ahead.
as you said. No, I should interrupt. I think I'm going to add one thing to that. Yeah, it's true that it's hard to oversell, but also I think most Bitcoiners are libertarians, or at least have this kind of mindset that we shouldn't force anything on anybody. So obviously marketing is enforcing, but I think kind of deep down we're like, if you don't care about Bitcoin, that's your opinion. Or I don't know how to say, but in general, maybe we don't push too much on the marketing side, even if it's 100% true, because we believe people are entitled to having their own opinion and having or liking or disliking whatever they want. So maybe we can debate them, but at some point we just let them be, And I think that's kind of the difference with shitcoiners. First of all, they're much more pushy, and also they oversell. So they're not completely honest, which is something we really care about, because Bitcoin is, I think the point is Bitcoin is don't trust, verify. So we're always like, you shouldn't trust me, you should verify yourself. But the truth is that most people, they don't want that. Most people, they just want to be told what to do. And so it works well when a marketing guy for shitcoin comes and say, you should buy this. And instead we Bitcoiners, maybe we joke and we say, oh, everybody should buy Bitcoin. But when we are more serious, we want them to realize that they need Bitcoin. And most people, they don't care about it. For some people, it's too hard. They just want to be told what to do. And we don't like to do that because we think we shouldn't tell anybody what to do. We should give them guidance or whatever, but then it should be their decision. So I think that's another problem with marketing Bitcoin.
Yeah, perfect. And, as you were saying that, I was reminded of one of these conversations out of a sovereign where, he likens these builder spaces, Hack.bs, BOBR Space, Bitcoin Park, etc., to like lighthouses. And I think that's really a good analogy, because a lighthouse is something you look for when you're in trouble at sea. You go to the lighthouse, right, in order to get help, in order to signal somebody, in order to radio someone. The lighthouse doesn't come to you, who's floating in the middle of the sea. Now, like the fiat stuff and the shitcoinery, I liken it like to somebody being lost at sea, and then the shitcoin boat comes along. It's like, hey, you can get on, board, and you'll be safe instead of swimming to the lighthouse, which requires energy. But the price of getting on board is you just become like our slave. If you're good with that, you're too lazy to swim. Maybe that's what you want. And unfortunately, I don't think, when I talk about it, I know the four of us on this, pod here understand exactly what I'm saying, but I'm afraid we're just a minority, right? But being a minority doesn't mean we have to dilute the message. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean the lighthouse needs to move to the freaking swimmers. It just doesn't make sense. What do you guys think? Daniela, maybe you first.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think, it's with this kind of mindset, it's a bit more difficult to just teach Bitcoin to the people. But at the same time, I feel like it's the right one. So yeah, I really like the metaphor, and I definitely agree.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. So I think it would be a bad precedent. Like if Bitcoiners start to become pushy and to selling too much, I think that would be bad for Bitcoin. So I think we should not only teach people about Bitcoin, but also we should teach people about the values of Bitcoin, which include this kind of, you should make your own opinion, because if we start just telling people what to do, if we start just telling them to buy, then at some point we start telling them where to custody their funds, and and this can can go downhill very, very fast. And then we end up with a semi-fiat system where everybody's just trusting somebody else because they were told to do it. So I think we should also teach the culture of, we are not going to come from you. You need to do the hard work, which is hard. You need to do your research. We are here to help, but you need to do it, and you need to come up with your own ideas. We cannot give them to you.
Yeah, really circles back to proof of work. Very nice. All right. The last point I had here maybe wasn't so much of a question, but a suggestion, perhaps a request. I don't know. But I've been thinking a little bit, at Bob, because we have been gathering, but also generating content, especially educational ones, technical workshops, etc. And then we maintain a library of GitHub. But what do you guys think about, our spaces? And again, I know that, Bitcoin Park in Nashville has a ton of content. What do you guys think about sharing or pooling educational content, or just starting off with like a library of just relevant GitHub links, right? And then a call to action for contributors, and maybe just, because you have events, we have events, live streaming of events where, people can join if they, again, come and do the proof of work. So a suggestion and a question. Or would you change something? Would you add anything to that?
I can start. So I think I agree it's really important. I think it's one of the main things, one of the main purpose of this kind of decentralized structure where we have a lot of small spaces bit everywhere. One of the purposes should also be to educate locally people. And so maybe we should try to kind of build a nice library of resources. And I think what the individual spaces should do would be to translate them into the local language, and then to just teach them to the people there. So I don't know how much I can say about this, because it's still not fully announced, but there is a project going on that's, I'm not going to say where, because otherwise you can figure it out, but there's somewhere in the world a city where they're trying to build some kind of, again, kind of hackerspace or some kind of educational center, obviously focused on Bitcoin. And what they want to build is not just something in their city. They want to bootstrap a network. So, for example, we've been talking with them for Hack.bs because we could become one of the pieces of this network, one of the parts of this network. And essentially what they want to do is they want to build resources for like courses and meetups and stuff like that. And then, well, first of all of the parts of the network contribute to this content. So it's not just them doing it. So it's many more people contributing. And then once this content is out, the local spaces would, translate it and then be responsible for kind of presenting it to the people locally. So yeah, I think that's really important to the education. I think that's the direction we should be going toward, is building a nice library and then reproducing courses and lectures everywhere around the world.
Nice. Can Bob join this network? And then if we have our own network, you guys can also join our own network as well. I promise that. Or is it exclusive? You got to have at least like 4 years experience as like a developer in Rust. I hope you're not.
Sorry,
that's not the requirement.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't get it.
No, I was saying, you mentioned about this network, which is cool. I'm asking, can Bob join this network? Because we're also building our own network.
No, yeah, I'll connect you with the people. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because it's.
Yeah. Don't mention it here. We can go sort of.
Some people know it's going on. I don't know if it's announced or maybe they're preparing for a big announcement. So, but I can connect you, privately to the people working on this, and I think they would be really happy to have you as well. Awesome. There are no requirement or anything. I think it's just they just want to connect communities everywhere.
Cool. All right, Daniela, back to you. Just now, in addition to what Alekos was saying, did you want to add anything? You have something to add? I don't know if you've been already thinking about these collaborations and having a repository of resources, or I don't know, maybe you've come up with more clever ideas.
Yeah, so actually really like what you're doing at Bob, also with the podcast, just wanting to share expertise with your community. I feel like so first of all, me personally, and I think that holds for Alekos as well, we didn't have that much time. So I was thinking, okay, why don't we start the Hack.bs podcast? Oh, easy, because we don't have time to do that, right? So there's definitely a problem of time. And also, yeah, I do like your idea of just having some GitHub page with resources. But what I see from the Italian ecosystem is that there's already a lot of resources out there. So I don't want to create something that's just a copy of the other link aggregators, let's say. So yeah, I would definitely like having some kind of Hack.bs official repository for learning, or something more organized for, or just I would like to create more educational content, but at the same time I want to do something original. And so I don't know, like I still need to think a bit more about it, but that's definitely in the roadmap. What we've been doing is right now we've been doing monthly meetups, and at each meetup there's a different speaker talking about a different technical topic, and we've been live streaming those. So the problem is that all the meetups are in Italian, so that's really useful for the Italian community because not many Italians speak English properly. But yeah, not really useful to the wider work
Hey,
community.
that sounds racist. That sounds racist.
So yeah, we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of stuff to figure out, but I'd say that's in the roadmap, definitely, to just create more educational stuff.
Very nice. I was kidding, by the way, but I do that. Uh, okay.
Yeah, of
Now,
course.
well, you've met me, so we're before going to wrap up and parting thoughts. We flip the table on our guests, and each of you guys get a question for Sovereign, myself, or both of us. Or if you guys don't have questions, we can just move to closing thoughts. So over to you first, Alekos. Any questions? You get one.
Okay, that's hard. So, I don't know.
You want
Daniela,
Daniela to go first? You want
Yeah,
Daniela to
please
go
go
first? Okay, Daniela, you want to go first? If you have a
Yeah.
question.
Yep. How did the Thai conference go?
Oh, well, I'll give you the facts. I thought it went great, but the facts is that like uh 600 plus tickets were sold, and the main conference hall where the panels were going on were basically all seats full from the beginning. And then after lunch through the end, which is like 6 p.m., you know, 85 to 90% of people stayed throughout the whole thing, even after lunch on a beautiful, sunny Saturday in Bangkok. So, yeah, it went well. I think people were really engaged. All the speakers, obviously did their thing. And yeah, I thought the whole thing with, not really well. And I just wonder, one thing we were afraid of prior to the thing was, are there going to be, Web3 crypto bros, they're chilling that stuff? Not really. Uh, didn't really hear anything about it. Didn't really hear a lot of, price talk either. It's mostly about the content and going deep down different rabbit holes, whether it be mining, Lightning node running, uh, Bitcoin as a payment network. etc., etc. So yeah, good overall, and I think the numbers do say something. So yeah.
That sounds so
Alekos?
cool. So
Go ahead.
I was wondering, sorry, I was wondering, were you like co-organizing it, or it was just the Bob Space organizing it? And how difficult was it for you to just
No,
get everything together?
yeah, the main organizer was Rightshift, which is a Bitcoin content and media company. Shout out to them, and Priya, the founder of that company. And then we were the co-organizer, and our main role was really coordinating with, a lot of the foreign speakers, and then stepping in as speakers and, moderator if, well, when there was a need for it. So a couple of things, yeah. So getting really deep down and involved, I guess. Yeah.
That sounds so
Right.
cool. Sorry, Alekos, I interrupted you.
Okay,
You can go
Alekos,
on.
your question, sir.
I have a question, not very original, but Daniela asked about the conference. I'm going to ask, how's the residency going? Is it, because I think it's already started or is about to start?
Dude, okay. This one, I'll talk about what I'm just most excited about now, and I'll throw it over to Sovereign because he's the man running the day-to-day of that. But man, I think the progress has been beyond expectation, and we just try to recently add, rocket fuel to it by forming a group of mentors, as Alekos you may have heard about, comprising, Uncle Rockstar Dev, Jimmy Song, and Super Testnet to really help guide and mentor, our builders, our residents in Cashew, Patreon, and Joinster. Yeah, I mean, and okay, a special shout out to our designer resident, Mark, otherwise known as Ahoro. Man, this guy, he's a beast, dude. He's a fucking beast. Over to you, Sovereign.
Yeah, Mark basically is facelifting Natstash when it comes to UI UX and PageJoin. But not only that, we are also helping these projects with like backend. We have like the Thai community, the node runners, helping with like residency. And when it comes to like every single project with Natstash, now GunLab is working on a Cashew proxy. As you might know, Dan just like launched PDK, Page and Development Kit. And lastly, with like Joinster, it's like a really early stage project, but looks really promising because it's trying to bring like decentralization and privacy to coin join mixers using Nostr. And yeah, we're like really bullish on it. And now with like the mentors we got on board, only good things can happen. So yeah, you will like definitely see like more updates about the residency this coming weeks.
Nice. Yeah, congrats for organizing that. I'm sure it must not have been easy, but I'm glad it's paying off. Yeah,
it's not the most difficult thing because like all these people, we never had to convince them too much, the point of the residency was to like give some funding to the developers, assemble a team to help them on that and get things going. So, with like Bitcoiners, when we gather together, only good things happen. So yeah, really happy to be part of this.
Awesome. Let's move to closing thoughts and, tell our audience where to find you and any other things you'd like them to walk away with. Let's begin with Daniela.
Yeah, so we have Twitter and Instagram. It's Hack.bs, and the nickname, the handle is like H4 instead of the A, and then CKBS. So H for CKBS. That's a tough handle, but all the other ones were taken. So, and yeah, we have a website, hack.bs.it. It's split in English and in Italian. So everyone can just visit. I mean, almost everyone. Yeah, I think those are the main places you can find us. And obviously, I mean, you can find us in our physical space in Brescia. We have all the address, etc., on the website. If you just happen to go to Italy, you can just send us a message either on Telegram, on Twitter, and tell us, hey, I'm interested in visiting, and we can sort out something. So yeah, those are my main closing thoughts.
Cool. Alekos.
Yeah, I'm gonna expand a little bit on that. I wanted to correct you, I forgot, but I think at the beginning you said we are near Rome, Italy, and we are not really. Or I mean, Italy is pretty small, so yeah, it's not that
Milan.
far away.
I'm sorry.
Milan. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. We can use this time to to explain it better. But yeah, we're pretty close to Milan. We're basically in between Milan and Venice, or more on the Milan side, though. So yeah, if somebody's around this area of Italy, I think it's 35 minutes by train if they take the fast one. From Milan, you can get to our hometown, and then like 10-minute walk, you get to our space. So like I say, from Central Milan railway station, in 45 minutes you can be at our space. Because I think it's a beautiful city, but there are so many beautiful cities in Italy that people don't really come to visit this city in particular, but many come for Milan, and knowing we are very close, maybe they'll swing by one day. Yeah, other than that, I think Daniela said pretty much everything. So the website is, I think, the main I don't know where you can find most information. I think we're also on Nostr, but we don't really use it all that much. But we should have a profile there as well. And on the website, we have the handle for it. And yeah, sorry if we haven't replied to DMs and stuff. We don't really look at it too much. We should do better.
Okay, that was a beautiful wrap up. Alekos, Daniela, Hack.bs. With that, it's a wrap.